Traders, how you doing today? Bill Soriano here, your Forex mindset and strategy coach. And today we're going to dive into something that every trader is going to face sooner or later. And that's those rough days where the market humbles you, right? Those rough days where nothing goes right and the market just humbles you. So basically, a reset. How do you reset after that? After you've suffered a couple losses, maybe you made some trading mistakes, maybe you moved your stop losses and your losses were more than they should have been. We've talked about that on several occasions here during the week on these live sessions. But basically today I'll just show you how you can create like a mental reset routine so that you can bounce back stronger and keep your edge sharp, and also kind of tell you what I do in those situations as well. But first, I want to show you what's going on in the market today, utilizing my ATH, our community's ATH RSI Sniper Pro 15-minute trade plan. And so this is the trade plan that our community uses that I've talked about, extensively on these live sessions. And this trade plan combines our community's proprietary indicator, the RSI crossover arrow indicator, with our company's Sniper Pro scanner. So we use those two things together to help us find trade idea alerts, right? And then we see if those alerts are confirmed, and if they meet our trading plan, then we can have potential entries from those trade idea alerts. And I like to show you a couple times a week kind of what's going in the market and kind of what that actually looks like. So let me see here if I can share my screen real fast here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so you should see my screen now. And so a couple things here that I want to show you, just a couple things here, and then I want to talk about that uh, the free 2-day training event that's coming up next week on Thursday and Friday. I talked a little bit about that yesterday. So this is a trade idea alert here in GBPCAD that went off at 8:15 a.m. today. Okay, so we had news come out at 8:30. Okay, so I didn't take this trade at 8:15 because obviously the news was coming out at 8:30. So let's circle back to this one. Let's look at USDJPY here. So this is a trade that I took yesterday at 9 a.m. Right? So here's my trade ID alert right here. This was confirmed with the Sniper Pro scanner. And this just kind of it's in a consolidation right now. It's just trading in this range here and it's not doing much. But there was news coming out, right, on high impact news on the US dollar. So let me show you that here. That was at 8:30. That was at 8:30. We have more news coming out at 10 a.m. today. So, but right here, this at 8:30 a.m., we had this USD housing starts, new housing starts, and building permits. And so this was the high impact news. We also had some medium impact news as well, right, on the same thing. So you have the what's going on in June, and then you have month over month, I guess that means June. Anyway, the high impact is what we tend to focus on mainly. I also worry a little bit about the medium, but most people just focus on this red folder news. Okay, and so you could see here that the results were a little bit better than expected, right? So this was supposed to come out at 1.3 million. It came out at 1.321. This was supposed to come out 1.39 and it came out at 1.397. So better than expected results. Of course, with better expected than results, you would look for the dollar to strengthen. So for instance, in that USD JPY trade, you would look for price to move up. But the results weren't that much over the expected amount here. So although they were better expected than result, uh, the market really didn't really care for it. As you could see here, price really didn't do that much from that news event. Okay. And so because of that, now remember, we don't want to take any trades 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after any high impact news, any red folder news. So there's an hour there where news coming out at 8:30. We wouldn't want to enter any new positions from 8 until 9. Okay, so we were already in this trade from yesterday. So once you're already in a trade, you got to decide how you're going to manage it. What I like to do is I go to Chat GPT and I ask it, hey, what do you think the results of this news is going to be? How's it going to impact the market and specifically whatever pair I'm trading? And I'll see what it says, and then I'll watch very carefully to see what happens. Now, in this case here, I did reduce my stop loss in half. So we initially had about a 53 pips. So I did move my stop loss down to about here on this one with my broker with Trade Locker, right? And so because that way, if there was a spike or something, then I would be covered. I didn't want to lose the whole 1% in this situation because I was in profit. Some people will move their stop losses to break even. Either way, price really didn't do anything. So since price really didn't do anything, this GBPCAD trade presented, I seen this. And so obviously I wasn't past that 9 a.m. window to take a trade, but because the news really didn't have that much of effect on USDJPY, I felt it was okay to do it. So we did get this trade ID alert right here at 8:15 a.m. We have our indicator goes off. This candle does close below that 55 EMA. That blue line is the 55 EMA. And again, that is the 8:15 a.m. candle. So if we go over to GFU to the Sniper Pro Scanner, here's our 8:15 a.m. candle right here. You can see that at the bottom when I hover over this candle. And so what we're looking for, right, this is a sell. Did price move into the upper volatility bands? It did. That's these three red lines right here, right? Is it a red or gold candle? It is. It's a gold candle, right? In the sniper later down here, do we have a red sniper line? We do. And do we have a dashed red trend sniper line? And we do. So those are all the conditions being met. Those are all 6 conditions. 2 of them you've seen over on TradingView, right? And then 4 conditions here. Now, in this particular trade, we also had 3 additional confirmations. Now, these additional confirmations are part of the trade plan, but they're not required, right? They're not mandatory. They just tell you, hey, really good chance the price is probably going to move in your favor here. Doesn't mean it will, right? Remember, one of Mark Douglas's, I talk about Mark Douglas and his book, Trading in the Zone. One of his number one fundamental truth is anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. And because of that, when I enter a trade, I always expect myself to be wrong, right? Until the market proves me otherwise. That way, there's no disappointment. There's no failure. I expect to be wrong until the market proves me otherwise. Why? Because anything can happen, right? There's a random result from any trade, even if you're trading with an edge. There's always going to be a random number of wins and losses. It's just like flipping a coin, right? Right? You flip a coin, they say flip a coin 100 times, you're going to get close to a 50-50 result with heads and tails. Okay. If you flip that coin 5 times and you get 5 heads, that doesn't mean you have a greater chance of getting a tail the next time or even a head the next time. It's still 50-50. It's always a random result, right? So these additional confirmations are we have a dot, a red crossover dot on our sniper line. We have real-time diversions right here. When you see real-time diversions up at the top, that means price is probably going to head downwards, at least in the short term. We also have a scorecard candle, and it's a +10 scorecard candle. That means in the background here, 10 of the 14 indicators that this scanner uses are telling us the price should go down, right? So those are all additional confirmations. So again, I wasn't past that 9 a.m. window with the news event because I was watching the news very carefully. I seen it had little or no effect on the market, especially on, I looked at the other pairs as well, but especially on USDJPY, which if it was going to affect something, it would probably affect that, right? Because it was dollar news. And so I entered the trade. So again, now we have news coming up in about an hour, right? So again, I'll ask Chat GPT, hey, what do you think about this news coming up? What's going to be the effect of it? What do you think the results are going to be? And then I just watch very closely. I'll maybe tighten up my stop losses again, or I'll lock in some profit, but I don't get scared away by news, right? Remember what Tom Hogard says in his book, actually the title of his book, The Best Loser Wins, right underneath that, it says, why normal thinking never wins the trading game. Most traders are scared of news. Most traders will just exit the position if there's high impact news coming out, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And I'm not saying that's the wrong way to think about news. I'm just saying that Tom Hogard says why normal thinking never wins the trading game. And the normal thinking seems to be we need to be scared of news. I get excited when news is coming out, and I'm in a trade with a pair that news may affect. Why? Because again, there's still a 50-50 chance that it could spike in my favor, right? So I don't get scared out because of news, but I do want to understand the news. So I go to Chat GPT and I ask it, hey, what's this about? Uh, because I don't normally understand this stuff. I was a chef by trade, right? I can cook, right? Um, and then, of course, I learned this on the side while I was doing that for many, many years. But I don't always understand the news, so I need to understand it, and then I need to watch it very closely so that I can react if I have to, right? So this was a trade we took, right? And again, we expected to lose until the market proves us otherwise, right? And so right now it is a little bit in profit. That's GBPCAD, and USDJPY is also still a little bit in profit. So they're just kind of hanging around here. We'll have to watch them when that news comes out at 10 a.m. And then, of course, today's Friday, so we'll have to get out of both of these trades at some point before the market closes, okay? Because we can't hold the trades over the weekend because the price can gap up or gap down on us, and that can cause us to lose more than our initial 1% or 1/2 of 1%, whatever we're risking, right? So that's kind of what's going on there. And that was a good example to show you with the Sniper Pro scanner, how do you get all of the conditions met, plus you get 3 additional extra confirmations, right? So that was a good teaching point there to show you this strategy, right? And if you want to get this strategy, I'll tell you that at the end of the video when we get back to our original topic for today here. But also what I want to remind you guys of is this these 2 classes coming up that the educators with our company GFU are having here to master Forex, crypto, and more of a simple proven system, even if you're just starting out. So we have 2 free training classes coming up next week, Thursday the 24th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're on the East Coast like me. And Friday, July 25th, 7:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 9:30 a.m. here on the East Coast. What you'll learn, winning strategies, how to use our scanners to spot trade ideas, right? Real trade breakdowns, not theory, a simple repeatable system, and basically how to trade as a side hustle. And these are the 4 instructors. So if you want to get this link here to this page here, you're going to want to get here, enter your email, save your spot. That way you'll get on my list, and I'll be able to send you out reminders next week when this is coming up. Okay. Also, when you opt in here, you'll be able to download my free ebook, The Trading as a Side Hustle, that my friend Paul Turner actually created the ebook. he's letting me give it out. And that ebook and then my free Forex quick start guide, which I actually created myself, you'll be able to download those two books. Those are free downloads as well after you opt in when you go to the thank you page. So this is at tradewithbill.com/free_training. So tradewithbill.com/free_training. Okay. If you need that link, just let me know. Okay, so let's stop sharing the screen here and we're going to get back to our topic. Okay. See if we can get back to our topic, which is basically creating your own mental reset routine after a tough trading day, right? So why do we need a reset routine? So trading is like emotional warfare. And without a reset process in place, when you have one bad day, that will sometimes bleed into the next day, right? And so your reset routine is like a pressure valve, right? You know, you have these pressure valves on your water heater or whatever, you know, pressure valves in case something happens. It's like a pressure valve releasing emotional tension so that you can trade effectively the next session, right? So step one, a lot of times what a lot of people do is when you're having a bad day, you've taken a couple losses in a row, right? Just step away from the screen. Some people will just, that's it, they'll clock out, so to speak. Step away from the screen, shut down your laptop, leave your office or wherever it is you trade. Just get out of there. Maybe go to the gym, right? You know, the problem is you're in a reactive state and your nervous system is overloaded and you need to break the loop. So a good way to break that loop would be to just clock out, shut everything down, go to the gym, right? But if you don't do that, do something else. Move your body, breathe, do something to break the loop, right? Always good to write things down. You know, write down what you felt, not just what you traded, right? Were you angry? Were you hesitant? Were you impatient? Right? Were you overconfident? Name the emotion. Naming the emotion that you were feeling when you took that trade allows you to process and manage it better, right? Identify the lesson, not the blame. So you need to ask yourself, what could I do better next time? Maybe you didn't do anything wrong. Maybe you followed your plan exactly the way you're supposed to, right? And the trade's just lost. Because why? Because anything can happen. Wins and losses are a random event, right? But if you are upset, find out what triggered you. What triggered you? And if you did make a mistake, what triggered you to make that mistake? And what did you actually do that broke your process, right? So you have to shift from emotional to analytical, from victim kind of to operator, right? Now, trading is hard. You're going to mess up. So talk to yourself afterwards, like you'd talk to a student or a friend. I do this all the time. If I broke my rules or if I did something I shouldn't have done, I'll just kind of sit in a quiet place and I'll just kind of go over it in my mind and I'll say it out loud, right? I like to say things out loud, right? But this inner dialogue that you have helps you to bounce back faster. So just create a mental reset ritual for yourself, right? Close the charts, walk away for at least 10 minutes, drink some water, breathe, write down what happened. Say to yourself, I release today and prepare for tomorrow or for the next session, whatever it is. Build the habit of closure. Okay, what you can do is you can review wins from your past. You can review trades that you took where you executed well. You can remind yourself that you know what you're doing. Like I said, maybe you didn't make a mistake at all. Maybe the market just moved against you. So Revisit your wins to rebuild your confidence. Then what you need to do after that is just prepare for the next session, right? Sit down, go over your strategy again, go over your game, your trade plan, right? If your trade plan has you, if you set alerts during the day, get on the charts, set your alerts. If you use support and resistance or supply and demand zones, mark up your key levels and get ready for tomorrow and set tomorrow's risk, so to speak, right? Shift your mindset from reactive to proactive. So, final thoughts on what you practice, you strengthen, right? One bad day doesn't define you, right? Your reset routine isn't just damage control, it's a performance tool, right? Practice emotional discipline and you'll strengthen it every time. So, some of the things that I do when I have a bad trade, you know that I'm a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger and his movies, and of course his Netflix series FUBAR, right? FUBAR, and so what that means to me is that means uh, filed up beyond all recognition, right? Or filed up beyond all repair, or you can use a different word instead of filed, right? You know what I'm saying? So when I have a bad day, a losing trade, I just say that. I say FUBAR, right? And another thing that Arnold says in the show is to disconnect himself emotionally from certain decisions that he makes. He'll use he'll use the phrase, that's it and that's all. So when he doesn't want to get further into an emotional discussion with someone or with himself, he says, that's it and that's all. So when I have a bad trade, I have a bad day, first thing I say to myself is FUBAR, right? FUBAR, that's it and that's all. Then I'll say to myself something like, hey, some win, some lose, so what? It's on to the next trade or on to the next session, right? And then I'll say something like clean slate, right? Clean slate. And to remind myself what I mean by clean slate, I'll say the word Tiger Woods. And that goes back to the story that Mark Hogarth tells in his book, The Best Loser Wins, where he's asking another pro golfer about, you know, if he thinks Tiger's better than him. And he says, well, if you're talking about, how far you can hit the ball or putting, Tiger's really not that much better than me. But the thing that Tiger does best of all is when he makes a mistake, he just wipes the slate clean like that. So he tells about he'll tell a story where, hey, if we're on the 15th green and we both make a bad putt, by the time Tiger gets to the tee to tee off for the next hole, it's like he's wiped that completely out of his mind. While everyone else is still kind of dealing with that in their head, and it will affect their play on the next several holes, right? Tiger's able to wipe it clean, clean slate. So that's what I'll say to myself, right? I say to myself, FUBAR, that's it and that's all. Some win, some lose. So what? Next. Clean slate, Tiger Woods. These are things that I do to kind of get the emotion out of the losing trades, right? Um, and so, hey, I hope that helped you. If it did help you, please like the video, comment down below. What do you do? Do you have a reset routine already in place that helps you? Maybe just comment that down below if you do. And of course, if you're struggling with mindset, there's many videos on my channel that you can watch. You're not alone, you're growing. And of course, if you want to get that, my ATHRSI 15-minute trade plan, right? Then just message me down below here and I'll send you the link to download my free Forex quick start guide because there's a bonus chapter there that has the complete 15-minute trade plan along with how to access the videos that explain it in complete detail. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Talk soon and always trade smart.